Hey y'all, it's your friend D, and in last week's video, What to Wear to See the Barbie Movie, I shared this pink wall with you guys for the first time, and a lot of you said that you really liked it. Now, I didn't show you how to make it because I actually made this wall a few months ago, and I just got around to painting it. So, I'm going to show you in this video how I made this wall, as well as how I made my large stone wall and my short stone wall. I have my foam board cut for my shorter stone wall, and you can adjust these pieces depending on how long or how tall you want your wall to be. My wall is going to be 3 inches tall and 16 inches long, and I have 2 of these pieces. For the very top of my wall, I'm going to use a 1 inch wide piece that is 16 inches long. And I also have these 3 pieces that are 1 inch wide and 2 3/4 inches long. So I'm going to glue one of the 3 by 16 inch pieces to the 1 by 16 inch piece. And I do need to peel off the paper on one side before I glue them together. So I'm going to do that now. So I have one side of the paper ripped off of both of these pieces. And with Dollar Tree foam board, it will start to warp when you take the paper off. But we're going to fix that when we start gluing everything together. So I'm going to take the larger piece and the part or the side that doesn't have the paper on it, I'm going to turn that face down. And I'm going to take my thinner piece, and this is the side that does not have the paper on it. I'm going to keep that facing me and glue it down on this edge here. I have my 2 pieces glued together, and now I'm going to take my 3 smaller pieces and I'm going to take 2 of them, sit it aside, and one is going to be glued in the very center, or as close to center as I'm going to get it. And I'm going to glue that in place, and that's going to be one of the supports. So I have my middle support glued in place, and so I'm going to take my other 2 pieces and I'm going to peel one side off of each one of these. And I'm going to glue one on each end, and I have the side that I took the paper off of facing outward. So it'll glue in place like this. So I have those 2 pieces glued on the end, and now I'm going to put my last piece on the top here and glue that into place. So I have all of my pieces glued together, and there's the back side. And this side, I did not need to take the paper off of it because I'm done with that side for now. We're going to focus on the front, the top, and the 2 sides. So now all I'm going to do is take my pencil, and I have a pretty dull one. I don't like to use a very sharp pencil because sometimes you can press a little bit too hard and poke through the foam board. So now I'm just going to start drawing my stones. So I have the front carved, and now I'm going to do the top and the sides. So to carve the top and the sides, I like to find where a stone ends on the front and follow that line onto the top. And try to connect some of these lines to make these stones appear like they have more than one side. So I'll find this line here, follow it up, and connect it to this line. By doing that, it gives the illusion that you can see the front and the top side of this stone. So I finished carving the front, the top, and the sides. And I wasn't going to carve the back because on this one I didn't. And you don't see this one in my pictures. You don't see the back side. But I'm thinking now maybe it would be nice to have one where all of it had stone, because I can put one doll on one side and one on the other. And if I have them like this, I don't have to worry about this plain side showing in photos. So I think I'm going to go ahead and put stones on the back side. So I carved some stones on the back side, and I want to let you guys know, if you need to save even more space, maybe this is even too wide for you. You can just take one piece of the foam, like the front panel, and just paint that, and it'll save you a lot of space. You just won't be able to sit anything on top of it. Now I'm going to go over everything with my black paint and Mod Podge mixture. Now you don't have to use this. You can just use straight black paint, or you can just go with a color of your choosing. So I'm going to cover the entire thing in this. While the black paint and Mod Podge mixture is drying on the shorter wall, I'm going to go ahead and start showing you how I made this one. This wall has larger stones, and it takes very little time to make. It is on one piece of foam board, and there is no carving that has to happen with this one. I used one of these self-adhesive wall tiles from the Dollar Tree. They are $1.25, and they remind me of bubble wrap. You can kind of hear that the stones, they're hollow inside. So I just prepared this the same way that I prepared the other wall. So I'm going to get it out of the packaging and go over it with my black paint and Mod Podge mixture. So out of the packaging, you can see that it has this border on it. I did not want that, so I trimmed it off the other wall that I made. But by doing that, I learned that the adhesive on the back is only held onto the piece around this border. So when I cut that border off, it took the entire adhesive backing off, and I had to hot glue that back in place. But it worked out. So just so you know, that will happen if you trim off this border. Now that my black paint and Mod Podge mixture is dry on both pieces, I'm going to go in with some black paint. I'm actually going to sponge it on, and I'm going to be using an elephant gray and a granite gray. I'm going to go in with the elephant gray first. So I have my darker gray on, and you don't have to wait for it to completely dry before you start going in with your lighter color. So I'm going to go ahead and start sponging on my light gray. Take some of that off. So I've applied some of the lighter gray on this side, and as you can see, it does give it a little bit more dimension. This side does not have the lighter gray yet, so it still looks a little flat to me. And on this stone here, I put a little bit too much of the lighter gray. So I'm just going to go back over that with a small amount of the dark gray. And that'll just help tone that light gray down just a little bit. So I cut out my piece of foam board that I'm going to use as my backing for my stone wall. And I went ahead and glued down my scrapbook paper. So on the bottom, I'm just going to line this up and stick it in place. Now I'm going to show you how I made the bricks for the pink wall, and it's similar to how I made the stones. And the pink wall is 13 inches by 20 inches, so it's easier for me to show you on this smaller piece. So the first thing I'm going to do is rip off one side of the paper, and I like to draw the height of my bricks first. And for a 1/6 scale doll, I find that a quarter of an inch in height for the bricks looks really good. So I'm just going to mark these. So you can see my pencil markings. So I marked each line a quarter inch from each other, and I'm going to go over on the other side and do the same thing. I have my lines on both sides of the foam boards, and now I'm just going to draw a line connecting one side to the other one. So I have my lines drawn all the way across, and now I want to get the width of my bricks. And I like for my bricks to be 1 inch wide. I'm just going to line this up here and just go down and mark 1 inch. So every inch I'm just putting a mark. So I have my first row of bricks. Go to the next row and just find the middle of each brick and draw your line. So here I would go underneath there, draw a line middle there, right here, and that's going to give you a rough 1 inch on this line. So I have my bricks carved in, and I want to show you what I do when I make a mistake. If you look at the pink wall, you'll see there are some mistakes, but I use them to my advantage. So sometimes if I'm trying to draw or put the lines in and I forget to skip one, let's say right here, I accidentally put a line right there. All I do is I just go back and kind of rough that up and make it look like that brick is broken. And that way it just looks like, instead of a mistake, it just looks like this brick just got broken with age, or something happened to it. Something else you can do to your brick, if you want to add texture to it, you can just take some aluminum foil or tin foil. And what I like to do is kind of put it in, make it almost like a tube, and then I can roll it over, and it'll give the brick just a little bit more texture. So over here where I didn't roll it, you can see it's still pretty smooth on top compared to over here. So I have my wall carved out, and this took a little while to do, guys. This is not a craft that's going to take you 5 minutes to do. So just keep that in mind. Now, if you want to cut down on the time that it does take you to do it, you can make your bricks a little bit larger, and that'll help out. Now, if you want to make the pink wall, of course, you can go out and just buy pink paint in 3 different shades. And I used a lighter shade first, and then I went in with my medium pink and painted random bricks. And then I went in with my darkest shade of pink and painted random bricks. I didn't have pink paint, so I just took red and white and mixed the colors until I got the shades that I wanted. For this wall, I'm going to go with a completely different color. I have these orange paints from the Dollar Tree, and this one just says orange, and this one is vermilion. It's a slightly darker orange, and I still need something lighter than this. So I'm going to take this and some white and mix it until I get the color that I want. Here's the 3 colors that I'm going to use, and this is the darker orange, the vermilion, and this was the orange, and this is the orange mixed with white. So this is going to be the one that I put on the entire wall first. So before I paint the brick, I want to revisit the stone wall. And remember, after I carved everything, I went over it with the black paint and Mod Podge, and then I sponged on the gray paints. And that left this part here that we carved in, what would be the mortar if this was real stone and brick, that left that black? Because I didn't want to get a lot of the gray in those crevices. So if you want the same effect on your brick, you need to put your base coat down first. Whatever you want your mortar to look like, if you want it to be red, lay your red paint down first. But since I want my mortar to appear white, I'm not going to put a base coat and fill in those cracks. And I hope that makes sense to you guys. You might understand it more once I actually do it. So I'm just going to take a little bit of my light orange, since the majority of my bricks are going to be this color. And I'm using this, I guess this is a sponge brush. I got this from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to get off as much of it as I can and lightly go over my bricks. So as you can see, the paint is not getting down in the carvings that we made. It's just staying on top. And that's what I want. I want it to look like that mortar is white. So I have my light orange in place. And now I'm going to start adding my other two colors. I'm going to go in with this orange. And I'm just going to paint random bricks. So now I'm going to go in with my darkest shade of orange. So guys, I have the vermilion orange on right here. And once it dried, there wasn't a huge difference between that and the regular orange. So I did mix up another color. I wanted to get closer to a burnt orange. I wanted to share with you what I had to do on the back of the brick wall. And I had to do this because Dollar Tree foam board does have a tendency to warp when you peel off that top layer of paper or when you paint it. And with the pink brick wall, all I had to do to fix it was just paint the back side of it. So I just painted it pink and it laid it flat and it helped to straighten it out. With this one, it helped a little bit, but not as much as I wanted it to. So I did have to go in with some skinny sticks and add some at the top and bottom and in the middle here to stop it from bowing. And these supports, so this is the support that I made for the pink wall, and I'm just going to use it with all of my backdrops instead of making a new one for each backdrop. I did paint this side pink just in case it showed in a picture, but I left this side plain, so I'll probably use this side with the orange wall. This is just some extra foam I had, and it was already in this shape. I had two pieces. So I took some skinny sticks and glued them about 1/4 of an inch apart in the center of this. And that's how I made my little stands for my backdrops. So guys, I'm loving this orange wall. And I did go back over it with the regular orange. So this one, I felt like the light orange just wasn't giving me the color that I wanted. You can still see hints of it here and there, so I like that. But I needed that orange to be just a little bit darker. And I'll show you a picture of what it looked like before I went back over it. I can't wait to decorate this for fall. I think it's going to be really pretty. And let me know if you like the orange and what other colors should I do a wall in. So my friends, that's all I have for you today. And if you have any questions about anything in this video, please leave it in the comments below. I will try my best to answer your questions. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. I'll see you next time, my friends. Bye-bye.